In the office, I was sitting at my desk in my office in Chattanooga when the smell of freshly brewed coffee suddenly became as bitter as my life had been for the past 2 years. The door creaked, and the sound cut my nerves like a knife on glass. I didn't even look up from the laptop screen. I didn't need to. I recognized him immediately. By the creaking sound of the door, by the heavy, uneven steps, by the hoarse breath that used to be so familiar. How many years had I listened to those steps in our house in the suburbs of Nashville? More than 30. Tens of thousands of steps that I could recognize even in my sleep. I slowly took off my glasses, feeling a wave rising inside, a mixture of anger, pain, and something I couldn't name. Richard stood in the doorway, and I barely recognized him. He used to be the star of our university, tall, handsome, with a charming smile that made women swoon. And now? Yellowish skin like faded paper, sunken eyes in which emptiness smoldered, trembling hands clinging to the door jamb. Only his shirt, expensive, ironed to a crisp, reminded me of who he used to be. "Liz, can we talk?" His voice was hoarse, cracked, like a rusty nail on glass. "I have 10 minutes before a meeting." I tapped my fingernail on the clock face, not hiding my irritation. "So, make it quick, Rich." He came in, closing the door, and his smell, a mixture of cologne and illness, hit my nose. He sat opposite me, hunched over, and his shoulders were shaking as if he was about to fall apart. "I was in our house in Nashville," he began, looking at the floor. "There are strangers there. You sold it a year ago. I was looking for you, Liz." "And why?" I crossed my arms, feeling the anger boiling inside. "What, is your Kimberly no longer warming your bed? Or did the money run out and you decided to come back to the one you abandoned?" He shuddered, his fingers squeezing the armrests of the chair, and his eyes filled with moisture. "We broke up," he mumbled, and his voice faltered, betraying despair. "Broke up." I leaned forward, and my voice became sharp as a blade. "And what about your words that she is your destiny? That with her you are young again? You left me, Rich, after 30 years. You missed Dylan's graduation, didn't come when my mother was dying, didn't answer his call on your birthday because you were busy with your slut. Do you even realize what you did to me?" My voice broke into a scream, and I saw tears streaming down his cheeks. He hunched over even more, his hands trembled, and his shoulders dropped as if the weight of the world lay on them. He looked pathetic, broken, aged, with sunken cheeks and red eyes. "I was wrong, Liz," he sobbed, wiping tears with his sleeve. "I thought about you every day. I was a fool. I knew why he had come back. I had heard about his diagnosis, a tumor, not the last stage, but the prognosis is lousy. Chemotherapy doesn't help. Surgeries are useless. His Kimberly ran away as soon as she found out, and now he needed a caregiver. You were wrong." I smirked, but everything was boiling inside. "You didn't just make a mistake, Rich. You betrayed me. You threw me out like an old rag for a girl who is young enough to be your daughter. And now that you're sick, you remembered me? Because you need a nanny to carry your pots while you die." He turned pale, gripping the armrests so that his knuckles turned white. His lips trembled, and his eyes darted around the room as if he was looking for a way to escape. "Where did you?" He swallowed, and his voice sat down. "Who told you?" "It doesn't matter." I waved him off, feeling the anger replaced by cold fury. "You ran away when everything was good, and now you're back because you're afraid to die alone? For 30 years, I was the perfect wife. I gave birth to Dylan, even though the doctors said I couldn't. I supported him when he had breakdowns at work. I moved to Chattanooga when he got promoted, leaving everything I had in Nashville. And he threw me out." I remembered Rich's old notebook that I found in the closet. A worn, blue one with his poems. I still remember one of them. When trouble comes and all turn away, I'll be by your side. Come what may. I believed those words then. But he left, leaving me alone. I looked at him and softened my tone, hiding my true intentions. You know, Rich, maybe you're right, I said, and a shadow of warmth appeared in my voice. Maybe everyone deserves a second chance. Even people like you. I'll send you my new address. Come tomorrow at 7. His face brightened, his eyes lit up with faint hope, and he leaned forward as if he wanted to take my hand. But I already knew what I would do. In the hallway after the meeting, I left the office, feeling everything boiling inside, like a volcano ready to erupt. My heart was pounding so loudly that I could hear its beat in my ears, and my hands were shaking, clutching the folder with documents. The air smelled of fresh coffee from the coffee shop downstairs and hairspray from Kate, my assistant, who intercepted me in the hallway. She was young, with bright red lipstick and curly hair, and her eyes were burning with curiosity. Kate asked if I had really forgiven Rich after everything he had done. Her voice was full of disbelief, and I saw her fidgeting with the edge of her notebook, waiting for my answer. I stopped, looked at her, and smirked. Anger burns from within, I said, but it's better to let go. But my words sounded empty even to myself. Kate shook her head, not believing it. She noticed that I was planning something, and her eyes narrowed as if she was trying to figure me out. I interrupted her, asking about the analysis for the third quarter, to change the subject. She nodded, but I could see that she was still doubtful. Her heels tapped on the parquet as she left, and I stood there, looking after her. A hurricane was raging inside me. 2 years ago, when Rich left, I didn't think I would survive. I would wake up at night, reach for his side of the bed, but find only cold. I spent the holidays alone, without his jokes and warm hugs. I looked at old photos where Dylan and I were laughing on the beach in Panama City and wondered where I had gone wrong. But I survived. I learned to live again without him, without his lies, without his betrayal. I knew I wouldn't forgive him, but I wanted him to understand that himself. I sent him the address, but it wasn't my home. It was a circus in Chattanooga. Let him return to his troupe. Let him understand that I am no longer the Liz who will tolerate his antics. I straightened my back and went to the meeting, feeling the anger slowly replaced by cold determination. I won't break. Not again. In the evening at home in the evening, I was sitting in my new home in the suburbs of Chattanooga with a glass of red wine in my hand. The light from the lamp cast warm highlights on the walls, but inside I was as cold as on a winter night. The phone was on the table and its screen was flashing from Rich's missed calls. 10, 20, 30. I counted each call, feeling a strange satisfaction growing inside. On the 47th, I waited specifically. I answered. Liz, what the hell did you do? Rich was screaming so loudly that I could hear his voice breaking into a squeal. You gave me the address of the circus. Are you making fun of me, damn it? I'm standing here among some freaks with balls, and you, what's wrong with you? I took a sip of wine, feeling the tart taste burning my throat, and smiled. I imagined him standing in the middle of the fairground, with a face red with anger, squeezing the phone while clowns juggled balls around him. That's right, Rich, I said calmly, but with venomous mockery. You are a buffoon who ran away from a traveling circus. So go back to your own kind. That's where you belong. You are abnormal. He was gasping with rage, and I heard him throw something on the ground. It seemed like a bottle. I'll remember this, Liz. Do you hear me? Goodbye. Rich, I hung up and blocked his number, not letting him finish. I stood up, feeling the tension that had been building for 2 years finally release. My shoulders relaxed, and my chest filled with a lightness that I hadn't felt since he left. I went to the window, threw it open. The April night in Tennessee was warm. The air smelled of blooming magnolias. And somewhere in the distance, a guitar sounded, soft and melancholic. The phone rang again, and I saw Dylan's name. I smiled, answering him, and my voice sounded easy, as in those days when we, Dylan and Rich, were a family. We chatted about his defense, and I told him who had come today. Dylan laughed, and the sound melted the last ice floes in my soul. A butterfly sat on the windowsill, small, yellow, with black specks on its wings. I carefully helped it fly into the night, watching it dissolve into the darkness. Listening to Dylan, I laughed at his jokes, and a feeling grew inside me that I hadn't experienced in years. Freedom. I knew that life was finally getting better. 2 years of pain, loneliness, tears, all this was left behind. I survived the betrayal, I survived the emptiness, and now I was ready for a new beginning. Maybe even something better than before.